Well, hello and welcome to Raj Sabha TV. You're watching discussion today with me, Rajat Kane. In this episode, we'll discuss the significance of a largest mass vaccination drive rolled out by India against COVID-19 virus. Well, the vaccination rollout also marked India's entry into exclusive V5 club, the 5 anti-coronavirus vaccine-producing powers, which include the US, UK, Russia, China, and now India. Without any doubt, India's entry to V5 club reflects an impressive increase in its soft power globally, with the 2 vaccines already in force, Serum Institute of India's Covishield and Bharat Biotech's Covaxin. The work is already going on at a positive pace on other vaccines as well. Well, the goal is to provide vaccinations to about a quarter of country's population based on priority in the coming months to begin with, and also balancing our internal needs with request of external countries. Now, to discuss further on the significance of India's entry to V5 club, we're joined with our guest. Well, we have former Ambassador Rajiv Bhatia and Dr. K. Madan Gopal. He's Senior Consultant Health from Niti Aayog. Well, many thanks for joining us. Let me start with you, Dr. Madan Gopal. We all know it's a big step that we have started a mass vaccination drive this morning. But now, in terms of our global standing, how far you see this step having its own significance? Dr. Madan Gopal. So,
Rajat, thanks. So, congratulations to all our countrymen for this vaccination drive. Now we are having 2 options, either to choose the vaccine or to the virus. So we will go with the vaccine thing. Having said this, I will just like to highlight that India is the major vaccine development and manufacturing hub. We have been manufacturing hub for more than 30 vaccines. And for the developing world, we have been providing supplies of more than 60% of this. And for the world, 1/4 of the world vaccine supplies are from India only.
Right.
The vaccine development we started in the month of May with the constitution of a task force, which visualized that how the vaccine manufacturing capacity for COVID can be ramped up. What are the things which are available? How the vaccine trials and others can be supported. After so many months, when the Honorable Prime Minister from the ramparts of Red Fort, he told that now is the time for vaccination. And the thing started moving in a very expeditious way. We have, with the constitution of a national expert group on vaccine administration for COVID, they have worked tirelessly, and they have seen that how the vaccine is administered to the Indian population, as well as how we can support the requirements of the neighboring countries as well as the friendly neighbors. And WHO has initiated a COVAX initiative, but there is a request from the neighboring countries and the friendly countries regarding because Indian vaccines, they are considered to be of a good standards, and the regulator has been regarded across the globe as a very stringent regulation. So we have been regarded as, and we have tried to maintain that kind of quality when it came to COVID. After the COVID was given regulatory approval, now there is inquiry coming up for the very many countries that after you have done our work, then now can you meet our requirements of the country? So some discussions are going on with the neighboring countries and the friendly countries, and as a gesture, I think the country would be supporting their requirements, at least for the healthcare workers and the frontline workers of this neighboring and the friendly countries. So that kind of discussion might be happening. So that's one thing, and we are very happy that 2 of the Indian vaccines which were manufactured here, they are already been approved for restricted emergency use. Once it comes to market authorization, that would be freely available for export and other things, provided the WHO empanelment other criteria are fulfilled.
Right. Dr. Madan Gopal, many thanks for your opening remarks. I'll certainly come back to you and we'll discuss further on the other dimensions of this move. Well, Ambassador Rajiv Bhatia, sir, we have a history of mass vaccination prior to this pandemic as well, and we have actually been praised for logistics in the vaccination program. Is it a really giant leap forward when we say that there is India's entry to this exclusive nations of producing, manufacturing vaccine? I mean, how important, in terms of our global standing, how important do you think this development is, sir?
This is the phrase I had the honor to use in my op-ed for the Times of India today, and I meant every word of this. At a time when for many years India's diplomats have been chasing the membership of the UN Security Council alongside P5 or Permanent 5, India's scientists, researchers, medical personnel have facilitated India's entry into the V5. So this is a very significant development. It is a shot in the arm for India's research and development, innovation, skill building, and above all the Atmanirbhar Bharat concept.
Right. Well, that's really important. So skill building and of course like the self-reliant India, and it's a giant leap forward towards the self-reliance of India, and of course like as we often see, well, the Prime Minister himself and other government functionaries calling out that this step and of course this entire fight against COVID-19 has been a benchmark in terms of a self-reliance. Dr. Madan Gopal, well, moving forward to exploring other dimensions of this move, how far you think it will enhance India's stature as a soft power when it comes to the discipline of medicine or the medicinal products in terms of export, as you were just mentioning in your opening remarks about giving vaccines or rather exporting these vaccines to friendly neighbors and other countries, sir?
The way we have handled the epidemic and the pandemic response, and the way we have been engaging with our neighbors in helping them in doing these trials, I think in the coming days, this is a very, very good option for the country, as well as there have been requests from many of the other countries that they are looking at India, that how they are doing it, how they are managing it. And as a result, what will happen, it will throw an opening. If you look at the PPE kits, when we started, we were importing the PPE kit. Now we are exporting PPE kit, and we are exporting the diagnostic, we are exporting the ventilators also. When the pandemic started, we were not self-reliant on that. As our Honorable Prime Minister has told that Atmanirbhar Bharat and Atmanirbharta, we have been trying to move in that direction so that we become self-reliant on that, as well as we provide support to the neighboring countries, friendly neighboring countries, and as well as the other countries who require this thing. Already, people are already getting engaged with the manufacturers, and there was a delegation also which went, delegation of the foreign countries which have gone and visited the manufacturing capacities of the Serum and the Bharat Biotech. They have gone there. The initial response, and when the other two vaccine candidates which are in the later stage of later stages of clinical trials, once they commit, then we would be having a number of vaccines which would be available freely. So that we would be in a position to help the other countries in the coming days.
Yes. Ambassador Bhatia, the vaccination rollout, of course, it's a culmination of several phases as we have seen as the pandemic set in. How challenging these aspects were? You, as you just mentioned about your opinion piece that you wrote in the morning. Well, if you elucidate further, how challenging has been several steps? Well, vaccination is the latest, or we can say the decisive step towards fighting the pandemic. Ambassador Bhatia?
Yes, thank you. Of course, you know, even people who are not fully familiar with the way governments work had a good idea that it's a big daunting challenge, especially in a federal polity First of all, there was this image that India can do very many things, but when it comes to R&D, there could be a difficulty. But clearly, resources were made available, which made R&D possible to deliver 2 vaccines. But going beyond that, I think pure logistics of the program that has been put in place is quite mind-boggling. In the beginning, people thought as to how and where, in which city vaccines would be delivered. But this whole concept of real-time pan-India basis launch of the vaccination campaign, flagged off by an inspiring address by the Prime Minister himself, was something that was, if I may use the word, quite historic in its moment. And I can share with you and your viewers that as the program unfolded and as people read about it, many people personally called me also to say that, we are feeling very proud as Indians today. So clearly, it is the first day's success of overcoming the challenge. We have to be very conscious of the fact that there could be difficult milestones ahead, but I think this country is determined to overcome those challenges and deliver this public good not merely to the people of India, but to, as Dr. Gopal said, to our friends and partners abroad as well.
That's quite clear. Certainly, we have. It's commendable the way that we have fought this pandemic. Of course, it enters a decisive stage as we roll out the vaccine. Dr. Madan Gopal, as we're discussing about this development, the other dimension of it happens to be our scientific community, who in very short span, if we say, have developed a vaccine. Is it really a big achievement, considering if we look at the history, there have been instances of a vaccine coming after years and years of research and development and trials and tribulations, and of course, like some vaccines have taken decades. But this is a major development. Is it so?
Yes, because as the technology is evolving, the things will also get in faster. Previously, if you look at, we were traveling from Mumbai to Delhi by train. Now, in 1.5 hours, you are in Mumbai or Delhi. That kind of speed is there. Having perfected the technology of vector and the platforms, this COVID has given an opportunity to harness the skills and the ideas and the innovations of the scientists, that how they can put the vectors and the other platforms which they have evolved over the years, perfecting the vaccines. They have tried the mRNA vaccine for the first time. They have used the conventional vectors as the Bharat Biotech is doing. They have used the other vectors also, other adenovirus vectors. That kind of technology is there. And now the data informatics are also evolved like anything. Previously, they used to do data analysis, and it was a very time-consuming process. Now the data analytics, the moment data is there, you can look at 360 degrees dimension of the data, and you can make interpretation. And the scientific community also is now geared up to look at the data in many, many ways.
Absolutely.
So in that way, the technology has helped in leapfrogging this kind of speed. As a result, what has happened, that after the phase 2 trials, we can establish that the vaccine is safe and efficacious. It can generate a immunogenic response, it can generate a T-cell mediated response, and it can offer protection. But in the emergency kind of situation, when we don't have any option to see whether we have to wait for the efficacy results, we have to take a call. Since the vaccine has already established in this phase 1 and 2 about the safety and the immunogenicity, we have to take a call that based on the effectiveness, we have to take that. That's why all the vaccines, they have come up very fast. So apart from that, apart from giving emergency authorization, the trials will continue.
Ambassador Bhatia, what challenges do you envisage and how best we can fight them when it comes to the mass vaccination program? Ambassador Bhatia.
No, thank you for asking this question. Although I think Dr. Madan Gopal would be in a better position to handle
since
it.
He represents,
if you allow me, I just wanted to bring in the diplomatic aspect of this a little bit more for the benefit of your viewers. I think I want to stress that these vaccines add to India's soft power in a very big manner. And I'll just give two illustrations. One is that vaccines are now going to be an instrument of friendship and partnership and cooperation. Clearly, there are so many countries which are suffering from this disease. They want the vaccines and they are going to be coming, they already are coming to our government and asking for help. And of course, India in principle is committed to help humanity. This is what the Prime Minister has said. Therefore, this would be a challenge how to balance the domestic needs and external requests and expectations.
Certainly, yeah.
The other important way soft power will go up, Rajat, is that this is going to really help enhance the business prospects of the pharmaceutical industry in the long term.
Certainly.
I think the vaccines would finally establish India's image as a V power, and therefore, in general, our pharmaceutical products, their image, their position would go further up. Not merely pharmaceutical sector, but I think I could say with a reasonable confidence that in general, India's export capability and this stress on quality that the Prime Minister has been making consistently, this is also being noticed abroad. So in a way, it seems to me, without any tone of exaggeration, that if this whole campaign delivers to the fullest possible expectations of India and the world, in the short to medium term itself, India's image as a member, as a proactive, constructive, helpful partner, a benign leader, this will get a shot in the arm.
Well, that's true. India's image certainly will of course, like in terms of pharmaceutical industry, has gone up notches high. Dr. Madan Gopal, we were just discussing about the challenges this entire pandemic has put forth before countries and the way we have confronted. Now, since you're a part of government's think tank and you've been associated with this fight from day one, so how challenging every step has been for the government, and what other challenges you envisage as a member of Niti Aayog as to when it comes to mass vaccination program?
I don't think that there would be major challenges in the mass vaccination program. Only difference with which we are having now is we are inoculating the adult population.
Right.
The experience which we will be having today, that whatever small glitches would be identified would be taken care. And the adverse events so far, they have not been reported. And we are prepared for that also. And both the vaccines are safe. And as we are rolling it out, first day, 3,000 plus centers are there. That means we are targeting around 3 lakh population. So we see that how much population we are able to reach. The second thing is we are doing it in a phased manner. After completing the healthcare workers, we would be going to the frontline workers and then coming to the other population. In the meantime, some other vaccinations are there. The only challenging thing is to keep track of the people. If I am getting a Covishield, the next dose would be Covishield only. It cannot be an interchange. That has been already taken
That's
care.
important, right.
Suppose there are more than 2 vaccines in a district, the CoWIN app, that's why it was told, it was a mandate of the committee, that's a National Expert Group on Vaccine Administration, that you have to suggest a digital solution. The CoWIN app was made, and the CoWIN app beautifully takes care of the mixing of the vaccine. That means if I have received a Covishield, I will receive Covishield in the second dose as well. And depending on the availability, the flexibility has been given to the state to choose the vaccine. The government will only supply the vaccine to the state, and states will decide that which of the vaccination sites will this. And the clustering of all the centers have also been made. That aspect has been taken care. That challenge has been there. The second challenge was about the capacity building of the vaccinator. And COVID has taught us to use the technology to our maximum. And through the virtual meetings, through virtual training program, the skills and other things, handholding has also happened after the virtual classes. So that kind of sandwich kind of program was made, and as a result, we could train the people very, very fast. Previously, during the earlier epidemics, we used to have a lot of time in building the capacities and rolling out of the vaccination program. Right. But this has happened very smoothly, and the vaccination that aspect is also taken care. The third aspect is the adverse event that we have to follow it. Because one of the vaccine is in trial mode, that is Covaxin, we have to follow up. Yes. And the second is anybody is reporting anything, they would be reporting to the team which is constituted at the district level, who would be taking care as per the AAFI surveillance protocols. That all the three challenges have been taken care. The other challenge will come when we go to the mass after taking care of over 30 crore population. Then whether we will require the vaccination or not, that call will be taken at that time, and then we'll see that when the vaccines are available in market and how that's another thing which we have to wait for the challenges as they evolve. As we have learned during this COVID pandemic, we were not prepared during that time. But fortunately, as the pandemic evolved, we also got matured, and we have, based on the maturity, we are having a standard treatments, and based on that, we could at least have a lowest of the case fatality rate across the globe. One of the lowest countries with the lowest case fatality rate. As we are maturing, we will be maturing in the use of the vaccines as well as whatever challenges will come, we'll find a way to evolve that, address the challenges. Over to you, please.
Right, certainly. Ambassador Bhatia, if we look at the entire fight against the coronavirus pandemic, right from day one, and given the size of a population, and there were initial apprehensions about the healthcare system in subcontinent and of course other subcontinent countries. Now, given India's fight against it, given our the numbers and of course recoveries, which has been fairly high, pretty high, I would say, recoveries comparing to other countries. What do you conclude? Certainly, are we getting towards a far better healthcare system what it used to be, or this entire exercise of actually confronting this pandemic has been commendable?
I think there was a great deal of information right from the beginning that was put out by the authorities into the public domain. There was quite a bit of education campaign. There was quite a lot of orchestration of information about protocols, about the scope of how this infection could really damage people. So clearly the awareness about the importance of the health sector and the need for a first-rate 21st century health system has been felt widely. I think that is the first step in terms of our trying to improve, expand and update our health systems. I think the government will have to spend much more resources in future on this. But one thing I would essentially like to say, I think, I was struck by the message Prime Minister once again gave today, which was that the fight is not over. It is not, while we are entering this is not what he said, but I am now saying it, we have not proclaimed victory.
Certainly, yes.
We have proclaimed really perhaps the end of this combat in a way, but it is the beginning still. And therefore, the point is that as vaccinations reach the various sections of the population, there would be a very strong need for all of us to adhere to the health protocols, to adhere to all the precautions. And I would only, as a private citizen, I'm no longer working for the government. I retired 11 years back. But as a private informed citizen, I would very much, reinforce the message that comes out from the authorities that we must exercise greater care and greater caution in the coming months. All of us have seen a lot of people out on the street without masks. Mm-hmm. Some of them think that, the victory has already come. It is not so. So I think all that I can say, not as a doctor, but as a informed, caring citizen, we have to remain on our guard.
Right. That's very important, Ambassador Bhatia. We have to follow COVID-appropriate behavior, and certainly it is here for a long haul. Well, just a closing remarks, Dr. Madan Gopal, how important it is to keep maintaining a guard, something which even Prime Minister, he greatly mentioned that, of course, we cannot get complacent. Very briefly, sir.
I will just echo the same thing which our Prime Minister has told. If you look at the experiences from US and the UK countries where the vaccination, they have started vaccination 3-4 weeks earlier than us. You see the surge of the cases, they are reaching 600, 900 cases per day per million cases per day. Despite having vaccination, as the Bhatia ji has rightly pointed out, that we should not be lowering our guard.
Certainly.
Because we don't have option. Either we have the virus, either we have the vaccine. These are the only two things which we have to remember. Apart from that, the myths and other things which are there. No need to worry, because the scientific committee, they are very rigorous in their analysis. They are very rigorous in their and they apply themselves with the scientific knowledge which they are having for recommending any vaccine. Once the vaccine is there, it is safe and it is efficacious.
Right.
We have to believe our scientific community, and we have to go ahead, and if whatever vaccine is available and given to us, we should be able to take that vaccine. And apart from that, not lowering the guard for the communities.
Right. Dr.
That's all the things which I can say. Over to you.
Sure. Dr. Madan Gopal, Ambassador Rajiv Bhatia, many thanks for joining us and giving us a perspective as to what it means to be a part of the V5. Many thanks, gentlemen, and many thanks to our viewers for watching this edition of Discussion Today. Well, we sign off here. Thank you and goodbye.